mammogram can shape your motherhood. The Jamaica Cancer Society, helping women now. Visit the website at jcs.live. Early detection saves lives.
Hey you know all the people in your business?
You should take advantage of CVM TV's unbeatable small business advertising package. Trust me.
And get your goods and services in front of your customers today.
For $150,000, you get a high-quality professional commercial.
Plus 20 prime-time commercial spots.
That's massive exposure at a fraction of the cost.
Including on the #1 morning show in Jamaica, Sunrise.
So don't wait. Call us on 658-208-5377 and see your business goals happen right here on CVM Television.
It's Thursday, October 31, 2024. Welcome to CVM News at noon. I'm Ramon Gordon. Following unexpected Uber deductions for NCB Visa debit card users, the bank reports that investigations reveal misuse of the system from May to October 2024. Executive Vice President for Retail Banking and Customer Experience, Cherie Martin, urges customers to contact NCB during the resolution process, noting that numerous accounts will be frozen and some users could experience card delays.
Our review also detected instances where individual customers completed an unusually high number of Uber transactions, some exceeding 700 rides within a single month, indicating possible misuse or exploitation of this issue. Approximately 300 accounts have been frozen in order for investigations to be completed. We will apply the appropriate fix to this issue as soon as possible. Until then, customers may experience delays or declined payments when using the card for Uber. We ask customers to reach out to us at cem@jncb.com to discuss individual cases and for further assistance where payments are outstanding.
To other news now, political commentator Saeed Bernard says public perceptions of Minister Favour Williams could shift as she takes on the finance portfolio. Speaking on Lead Story last evening, Bernard suggested the ministry might be a good fit.
As it relates to Favour Williams, first of all, she has the qualifications, no doubt. You can never doubt that at all. Her education, first of all, Wharton Business School, Harvard, her professional experience in Jamaica and abroad is spectacular. But what has happened is, in politics, you also need personality to go with particular posts to win a bind. That's just the reality of our political landscape. And so it remains to be seen whether in this space where one could argue that Favour will be most comfortable, given that she's used to the numbers, used to the finance, this might be a very comfortable space for her. I would love to wait and see if that allows for her to blossom and to show what the Jamaicans have been hoping for and what they've experienced with Dr. Nigel Clark. The issue is, George, is that Dr. Clark has sort of, given a context, a shoes that needs to be filled, and I'm afraid she was judged in comparison to that. I, for one, will not be holding her to that comparison. I think she can, in her own way, make good of the post and still get the buy-in of the people, and so that really remains to be seen as it relates to her performance in the post.
A University of the West Indies assistant lecturer has made history as possibly the youngest recipient of the UWI Guardian Life Premium Teaching Award, which annually honors one outstanding lecturer for teaching excellence. Here's Trisha Gay Kelly with more.
The work of a teacher never stops. They become parents, guardians, and even protectors. But quite often, teachers are overlooked and their roles underestimated. There is, however, one organization that aims to recognize teachers' efforts. Year after year, the Guardian Life Group hosted its Premium Teaching Award ceremony in partnership with the University of the West Indies to recognize lecturers there. This year, the chosen one is young assistant lecturer in the Department of Economics, Javon Henry, who says he's elated to be selected.
I'm very pleased, I'm happy, I'm excited. Well, I'm not surprised because I knew from before that I'd be getting the award. Winning this award, especially as a young faculty member winning this award, it might inspire other young persons to apply for the award in the future. And so I think that this is a meaningful moment for myself, but for teaching and learning in general.
The award is given to a teacher with outstanding performance in and out of the classroom. According to coordinator at the UWI-Mona Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, Dr. Mervyn Chisholm, Henry ticked all the boxes.
In winning a teaching award, there must be evidence of your pedagogical expertise. And his students demonstrate, his students sing his praises, saying how great he was, saying how good he was, saying how much he reached out to them and engaged them. And because he was such an engaging lecturer, he was able to help them to learn.
The Guardian Life Group has been celebrating teachers and their performance for decades. Vice President of Employee Benefits Constance Hu says teachers deserve to be honored for their work.
We often recognize teachers for teaching, but we rarely recognize teachers for excellence in teaching. And so back in 1998, this idea was put forward, and we did it in Barbados, and then it moved to Trinidad and Jamaica. And since 2004 to now, we've continued to award excellence in teaching, recognizing the accomplishments of our teachers here at the UWI-Mona.
Runners-up, Dr. Nikisha Spencer, also from the Economics Department, and Dr. Colette Cunningham-Myre from the Department of Community Health and Psychiatry. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
As concerns over Jamaica's public health system grow, one local politician is taking bold steps to address the issue with the soft launch of a new medical centre in Kingston. Touted as the island's first health club, the facility aims to offer Jamaicans first world health options. Here are the highlights.
Anything can happen when you believe, and believe he did in the dreams he's harbored for years that eventually saw this entrepreneur making access to first world health options in the country a possibility.
I have created the first and only Soma lab in Jamaica to look at the needs and you will talk. So what I have done is to look at where the poor suffers most and to find a way to bring them on par with those who can afford to travel overseas.
Gordon, no stranger to health services, only recently inked an agreement with the Jackson Memorial Hospital for kidney transplant surgeries. His ambitions didn't end there, as Gordon underscores, this dream will also see the facility becoming the first of its kind health club in Jamaica.
Anyone who comes here, once you're properly registered, you will not be turned away because of money. You will not be turned away because of money. My team and I has put together a fantastic package. We have 4 categories because it's the first health club. So we have 4 categories of membership. We have the senior citizens that will pay $40,000 per annum. And you get all your treatment discounted at 20%.
Gordon hopes this service will expand, affording more poor Jamaicans quality health services at a fraction of the cost and time, setting a gold standard among its public sector and private sector relatives.
Then we have the silver for those who are struggling at the lower end. Then we have the gold for people like Dr. Weekly and Clement, and then we have the platinum for people like Richard. what we have created is really a one-stop shop. And I just want to tell you that this is not it. In another few weeks, that old building that started this will be knocked down. And we're going to go 2-story up on the other building because we're putting in a pathology lab and we're also putting MRI and CT scan.
There's been ongoing political debate about alleged shortcomings in the country's health sector, even as more investors inject funds into various health industries to improve services.
Stay with us. News continues after this.
You've weathered the storm, but rebuilding and preparing for back to school have taken a toll. It's time to get some money in your pocket. At Chris and Charles, we understand your financial needs. With just a quick call, you can access funds to catch up on bills and cover unexpected expenses. Our process is fast, simple, with funds deposited in your account in no time. Don't stress, get money in your pocket. Call 876-926-0609 or visit our website today. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
The Isuzu MUX. Take the lead. Visit our showroom at 19 to 21 Carlton Crescent, Kingston 10 today. Or call us at 876-929-9190. Isuzu Jamaica, with you for the long run.
Jamaica Food and Drink Festival's Meat Street and the Market is back in partnership with the Port Authority of Jamaica. Saturday, November 9, 3 to 10 p.m. at the historic Naval Dockyard in Port Royal, Kingston. Food trucks, restaurants, and chefs galore. Enjoy CV pan chicken, Helsha style fish, gourmet pastas, veggie delights, street eats, and so much more. Guided tours, live entertainment, and kids zone. Park and ride with JUTC. Meat Street and the Market. Saturday, November 9. Adults 2,000, children under 10 free. Tickets at JA Food and Drink Kitchen on Cork, Content Spring, Candy Craze Waterloo, CPJ Market, and Genus Pharmacy Portmore. Pay with Visa or buy online at jafoodanddrink.com.
Welcome back. It's now time for our discussion segment. Following the recent appointment of Fayval Williams as Minister of Finance, opinions have been mixed. Today, we're turning to business leaders to gauge their perspective on this new development. Joining us are Metri Siaga, President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, and Wayne Chen, President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, JEF. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Let's open the conversation up with 30 seconds to you both. The news yesterday, Fayval Williams, she's the first woman finance minister. Mr. Siaga, or Sir Chen rather, what was your reaction to the news?
I think I've known Fayval Williams for at least 15 years, and you're from the private sector. I never had an inkling that you would ever be in politics, much less so a Minister of Finance. That said, she is extremely qualified, a sterling academic reputation. She is a graduate of two of the top universities in the world. Wharton Business School, which often tops every global list of the best business school in the world. Harvard economics degree. Experience in the private sector as a pioneer in the private sector because she and her husband launched the first publicly traded real estate investment trust in this company. So extreme local and international experience in terms of financial and economic matters.
Nice.
She has served at the Ministry of Finance, she has served at the Ministry of Energy and at the Ministry of Education. So she has extensive public sector experience. Importantly, she speaks in the language of our international partners. So when she speaks to her counterparts at the IMF, the World Bank, the IDB, they know each other. And that is extremely critical. But I want to add one more thing. She has the backing of her Prime Minister, which is critical, because the Minister of Finance has to make decisions that are sometimes painful for their colleagues, especially in an election year. She has a steady hand and she will keep her hand on the wheel, which is critical for us. I will say to my colleague Metri, 15 years ago when we were at the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, and I look back at some minutes of those meetings, macroeconomic stability was the number one concern of the private sector 15 years ago. It is not even on the agenda anymore because we have come to take it for granted. But we can't take it for granted if we don't have a steady hand on the wheel. And I think Fable Williams, backed by the Prime Minister and her cabinet, will be a steady hand on the wheel.
Very nice. Sir Siaga, I'm going to ask you, is the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica as confident in Minister Williams?
Yes, we are. And the only thing I'd add to what Wayne said is that she has the backing of the private sector as well. She has the expertise. She has the experience. You mentioned it in the outset. You know, it's our very first female Minister of Finance in 62 years. I think that speaks a lot to the Prime Minister's thought process, and I'm happy to see it. I think that we have done the hard work to get where we are, and as Wayne said, we need a steady hand on the wheel, and I am confident that Minister Williams will be that steady hand. However, what we need now, and one of the first things that Minister Williams needs to look at, is growth. We have done all that hard work to get where we are. We need now for the people of Jamaica to start feeling the benefits of the hard work. And the only way that's going to happen is through growth.
Sir Chen, I'm going to carry you in on the back end of something Mr. Siaga just said a while ago. How important is it for Minister Williams to continue the policies of her predecessor, Dr. Nigel Clark? And where do you think she might be able to bring in some fresh ideas?
I think it's policy continuity has served Jamaica well. Fresh ideas is overrated. What we have not done is just practice consistency. Practice prudent fiscal management. Don't run any deficits. I think in all the accolades that the outgoing Minister of Finance was receiving, I don't think we heard loudly enough his caution. His caution is the public sector wage bill is bigger than even they had projected, but thankfully the surpluses have paid for it. But that can easily balloon if we don't watch things like overtime. So there's some in-house housekeeping that she has to keep a very keen eye on, even as she solves the dilemma of slow growth. Jamaica is not going to move to rapid growth in the short term, but the Ministry of Finance and the Minister of Finance can put money where it has the greatest multiplier effects, whether it is into education, so we can raise this education and training to raise the skills level so people can earn more, whether it is looking at the linkages in the tourism sector so we can have more retention of the tourism dollars in Jamaica, whether it is a revival of agriculture now, whether with greenhouse technology, whether with a tree planting or food production program. We have to look in the traditional sectors, certainly, and see how we can introduce technology. And last but not least, and perhaps closest to her purview, is increase efficiency within the public sector and reduce bureaucracy.
Now, Mr. Siaga, what is the state of the private sector right now, rather? Mr. Chen alluded to it earlier as it was in the past, but presently, how is it? And what does the finance minister have to look forward to ahead? What work does she have to do there?
Well, I think the first thing is that I make publicly today the commitment that we are ready, willing, and able to work with the new Minister of Finance, as we did with the previous and every other one that has been appointed or elected. So that's number one. Number two, as I stated before, Minister Williams has got to get her handle on growth. We have got to put the things in place that's going to allow the private sector the room and the space to grow, whilst the public sector has its role to play in growth by implementing projects that are long outstanding. I hope that Minister Williams will get quickly a handle of all the projects that have been out there and outstanding for a long while, and then get those projects implemented quickly. The private sector needs to be freed. There are some nagging things that have been hanging around, some EPA agreements, some asset tax agreements that we're going to be talking to Minister Williams about early on in her tenure, and trying to get ourselves to a place where we have the physical space as a private sector to be going out and to be investing. We need interest rates to come down. We need to have the ability to create the investments that's needed to get the economy to grow.
Nice. For you as well, Mr. Chen, what will be expected of the minister in regards to, challenges that Jamaica's workforce face? We're speaking about Jeff and that purview now.
Well, Jamaica now has the lowest unemployment in its history, 4.2%. The outgoing minister signaled his intention to implement unemployment insurance and to strengthen overall social protection. It has only become possible because unemployment is so low and the fiscal accounts are so good.